that would be a very, very bad idea for all this.
No, it's totally
It was,
okay.
it was really good.
Oh yeah, that's the
So
feedback.
Yeah.
Just simply, it was very, very good.
So I want to say one thing though.
Sure.
Just constructive feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt your music was a little too loud.
No, I don't use music.
Who had the music?
I had the music.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I felt like it was competing with her voice, and every time she would not give instructions, my mind would go to
Music,
the words.
I had the same problem.
And then every time Kirti would start speaking, it was like really messing with the experience. So I would recommend, just like you said yesterday, either instrumental or nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
I use
instrumental also I find any
I
music to be
always
a,
find it disturbing.
yeah,
So,
because
Yeah.
you want to enjoy the music. I'm
Yeah.
so music fan,
Yeah.
especially when these such nice things are there.
Yes.
And then people talk. Why do
Yeah.
you talk? Leave
Yeah.
me alone.
Like it was beautiful.
Yeah,
It was
very
really
nice.
beautiful, but I couldn't enjoy that, or so that would
Music
be.
is, so yes, music is always. We are going to have a discussion today about ethics and boundaries and class methodology, teaching methodology. In that, all these points come. There are in fact some of the studios even write, okay, this class with music, this class without music. I believe those big studios have all these things because people have preferences, and some people like music, but some don't because of the same reason, which is who is talking.
And I think it didn't interfere as much with Vishwa's voice because your voice is louder, and maybe that's why. But somehow with Kirti's voice, it was more distant.
I finally always find music
Yeah.
to be competing with the
Yeah.
teacher and instructions.
Yes.
So-
If you are at the basic level and you don't know how to meditate, maybe or focus your mind, then music is of some use because it But as you know how to meditate, then every time you're trying to go inside,
Yes.
the Om is beautiful,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah. Actually, Sri Ranji's
So it just
music was
depends, like
fine.
you said,
Yours was good.
No, it was still his music.
No,
No, but after
Oh,
some
okay.
time, but the good
that
thing
one,
about
that
the
one was fine because it didn't have the words.
yeah, the Om is good.
It was Om.
It was just
good,
home,
yeah.
right? That was fine.
Because you're trying to, your other
Yeah.
first music is very good and I want to take that, but it was talking about some chakras.
Yeah.
The first one, Manipura and then
Yeah.
Swadesh. So I was very curious, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I was
You know what
meditating
it is?
on those chakras and then they started talking. I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
It
yeah.
was a good one, but it's very
Yeah.
distracting because my mind was, what are the chakras?
Yes.
What is this music he's picking and where has he got this music from?
Yeah.
And I need to ask him.
I was exactly doing that.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
while we
me
are on
too.
the topic of music, one more thing that I observed was because today's class was a little vigorous. There was many segments where it was active, people were sweating, right?
Yes.
But the music was very soft and meditative. So there was a little mismatch between the two. I think very meditative music is good for shavasana or meditation. But for vigorous music, maybe we should like Jinchak.
Like that podcast comes
Zumba. In fact, yeah, that's why I prefer not to have music, and usually I start only towards the end, that to Om only for
Yes.
DRT.
Yes.
And later, that's it. And when I say silence, I even stop that also because really you are doing silence. So why even Om is required there? So I just fade it out slowly and then leave them. So it's profound when you are maybe a small Om when you're doing Nadishuddhi Pranayama, and then you say, okay, alright, stop. Even Om during Om. I do Om during Om so that the pitch and all will match, and that way it's fine. And then I say, now relax and go into silence, and I won't stop. I just do low, 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 and then just cut down the music. And then you should see how profound that silence becomes, because even that music is gone. So you can try these things. Yeah, I agree. Music is always a debate. Every session, even yoga teacher training, everywhere, music is always a debate. So, okay. So having said that, let's just go into the feedback in general. The overall flow was phenomenal. Just was just so good. It was as if those personalities came alive, right? The dynamic came alive and things like that. So from that, just moving on to the constructive feedback. Kapalabhati, initially you said exhale, 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 and then you said Om 1, Om 2. I'm not sure what's the purpose of that. Usually Om 1, Om 2 gives you, if you go through the seconds, it's 60 breaths per minute.
Okay.
So if you want to do 120, then you cannot do Om 1, Om 2. It can be count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, okay, at this pace. So that way they just got that vigor,
Okay.
and then okay, alright. So
I'm
you need
very
that.
bad with teaching Kapalbhati. That's why I was.
Yeah, and the Kapalbhati and Uddiyana Bandha also. Those two practices took 24 minutes, by the way, just to let you know. So you have to be aware of what you're doing and how long. That way, if you have to give, say, 1 hour 15-minute experience, and you really want to do a whole bunch, which is what level 2 usually, when people come for a level 2 class, they expect a lot more physical. I'm sorry, unfortunately. But our goal is to take them to meditation. So it's a conflict between what we want to achieve and what they want. So you have to give them what they want, and then you have to bring in that what Sri Ram brought. So then it's always a race. So it's nice to know how much you're giving, where you're cutting down. That's why it's important for us to discuss teaching methodologies today, and we'll do that in the combined class. How 10 minutes is 10 minutes, not 15 minutes, not 24 minutes. And how to cut down on the initial part. I understand you all want to have a very nice Om for 3 times and a beautiful little prayer and everything. Somewhere you have to cut down.
Okay.
Because you cannot take 20 minutes for that. So if you want to give the best later part experience like that happen, in that 1 hour 15 minutes, which is what we are actually, that's where most of the things have to be done. Nowadays they are doing 26 minutes yoga and whatnot. The world is moving towards just, 1 minute is 60 seconds, right? That's how things are. In that situation, how to manage. That's what is the goal of this teacher training, the advanced teacher training. It's not advanced teacher training to do more, longer standing and things like that, but to give the deeper experience of grounding themselves to be able to experience total silence and whatnot. So that is the idea, and you want to take the clock, one eye on the clock, and then accordingly cut down at home, decide, okay, I'm just going to start with 1 Om. I'm just going to do a quick, slow, quick prayer and begin. And then wait for the later part to have that fun. Okay? That is just a feedback for everybody. Uddiyana Bandha, a good demo is required. I don't think that was done. It was okay, just feel that way.
I have to get better at this.
So I think we'll have one after this whole thing, towards the end, maybe 12:30 or something. By then food will be digested. You can give the Uddiyana Bandha instructions. So exact his instructions
Yes.
are phenomenal.
I think somewhere you bring the abdomen up, right?
Yeah. So we'll go to that later part. He has got some good lessons which he gave last time.
Okay.
That how to cave in
Yeah.
that yeah. And I'll also Anil and I have learned from Yogi Mahendra, who used to teach very nicely. He would give lower Uddiyana Bandha and upper Uddiyana Bandha. He would call it. The idea is that when you go into lower, you actually feel that. When you go upper, you actually cave in, like what you were talking about. In the lower Uddiyana Bandha, which is the easier one, many people can do. So it's fine to just do at the musculature. And then later for the organs, you want to suck it in and upward. We'll do both of that, and we'll have a little study group towards the end. We'll do last half an hour if we have to keep the time today. Last half hour would be Om meditation, no, Om in not Om, Aum. We'll chant that with Kundalini, like we are listening to this chakras, right? So how to say Aum and feel that Kundalini effect. So we'll do that. So please, let's keep the time, not waste it in various discussions which we do usually. That's all was the feedback there. And with respect to Vishwambar's, it's fine, except again, each of these were very slow, right? It's fine, but you have to know that time is time, and when we want to quickly move to Surya Namaskars, I would just go, okay, alright, let's just do some loosening practices and rotate the shoulders and then reverse, 6 to 8 of them, and I'm done. And now wrist rotations, 6 to 8, and then reverse. I'm doing it really too fast, but you got the point. So then by about 5-7 minutes, you're done with all these little movements. Just a little movement so that your Surya Namaskars are now going to be done nicely and safely. That's all. But if you take that much time for loosening, then are we doing Sukshma Vyayama class, or are we doing the dynamic class, or are we doing a very nice flow class, which you did fantastic? But then again, if that's a class, that is the class. Then we cannot add on top of it dynamic class, dynamic sessions and whatnot, right? Somewhere you have to cut down. So then Surya Namaskars, quick, put a music on, or even otherwise just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then have the class count. We do this. Phenomenal. They all feel they are involved in that, and some 6 Surya Namaskars like that. If needed, mantras. If not, skip that also. But you have to know what needs to be given, what not as a class. And then when theme is picked, today dynamic class. Why am I saying all this? Because let's say you go to a class wherein there is a lot of energy, youngsters and kids, then you are not going to be able to do what you did. This is a perfect class, Surya Namaskar, for somebody who is just coming for a regular yoga class. They are following you. Lot of instructions were there, and lot of different poses, lot of flow. They have to really know. Otherwise, they will be struggling. You'll be surprised. What kind of people come to yoga classes, our yoga classes especially. They cannot do 1/10 of this. So then how do you manage, right? So you have to really pick that. So that is the reason we are keeping certain segments in a certain way, so that when you effectively deliver that, you know what works for that person. And accordingly, just dynamically sometimes shift and switch and whatnot. Anil teaches in this rehab center. You go there, you have no idea what kind of clients are going to be there, and what do they want. If you do a very mild class, some will run away. If you do a very dynamic class, some will run away. And these are all, rehab patients, right? With all medications and whatnot. Some with good energy, some with, with after all that quitting the drugs and whatnot, they are in a very bad shape. They'll be shaking all over, and they'll come and sit in the class. So you will have such challenges that is what I call advanced yoga. Otherwise, it's not, our model of advanced level 2 class is not so much just the physical abilities. That is also there, and we are not ignoring that, but also understand that all these different techniques are aimed at certain segment of population. And so for kids, for example, the reason dynamic class has this repetitive thing is once you teach, once you give a demo, then they will repeat that a few times. So now we're moving on to the comments there. Again, all of these are not really comments to say that you did a bad job. You all did a phenomenal job. So for dynamic, why dynamic is important is because when you keep switching the same thing, like one leg, right? For example, in here, this pose, once you demo, saying the demo should be like this. Okay, for those who cannot jump, that is the way to demonstrate. And then others, if you cannot jump, don't worry about it. You are doing fine. Doing just that is fine. You are doing fine. So something like this, guys, and I know you can do a better job. That's okay. You don't have to have the ability to do everything. We all come with some issues or the other, right? So I'm sorry. See, I come with an issue. I cannot keep doing this because I have problems with my wrist. So I say, I put my fist down. Please put your hands down, and then please practice, unless you are like me. So now, when you want to give, you want to just do a couple of them like that. Jump, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump, jump. Or listen to your body. Others, jump, jump. something like that. So you have pumped them up, but you're not jumping. And then immediately don't put us on pro.
Oh.
Oh, that was
No.
one thing I wanted to. The makara was, I felt no need for makara
Yeah.
because you're panting, no breath to do the makara.
Yeah, the only way you want to do is this.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can also bring jogging, whatever it is, relax by walking. They say, we have Vasa's video, we'll send you phenomenal dynamic class, really phenomenal. So that way, once they learn, got the demo, then they understand it. Then the repetition will take care of itself. But if I am moving with so many asana flows and all, there are many, today's subject also to some extent will be discussing ADHD. Not just kids. We somehow think ADHD is only kids. Wait a minute, they grow up. They are not going to stay that way. So you have to understand in a class, there are always such people who find complex instructions, constant change, constant move to be very tough on their mind. So if we just give something like this for about 20 minutes, really 20 minutes of no rest, just giving them that dynamic practice, give them deep relaxation, ask them to wear something, because by then they would be sweating. I was like, initially I had to wear my jacket and all. Then that relaxation is the most powerful. And if there are ADHD adults, many are, and those people will really are anxiety or any of those things. And they don't have to be clinical anxiety, please understand. We are not here to, this is not a therapy class per se, but there are always people with a little anxiety here and there. So, okay, so that is the purpose of dynamic practices. So you don't have to practice everything, but you should not also give relaxation in between just because you need it.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Please don't give relaxation, because I wanted everybody to experience the dynamic, so I had to come and intervene that way. And she was like, I need relaxation.
I was not going to do this Ashwasachalana jump, but I took the challenge. I said, never mind.
Very nice.
He said, you got to do this, and I sent him back. You think I can jump? And then at the end of it, I said, no, I'm going to take the challenge.
Yeah.
So I just took the challenge, and I'm glad I did, because I got to learn. This is what I should be doing.
Yeah. So it's okay. You don't
That's
have
a
to know
very good
everything.
point, that you don't have to do everything, because then it just becomes very tiring and you're not able to think and
Yeah.
deliver instructions.
Yeah.
And I like the point about the Surya Namaskars, making the students do it, because sometimes you want to talk other things but you're caught up in numbers and things like that, or you want to make corrections maybe.
Correct.
And if somebody else is counting, now that job is taken care of. So
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah,
focus
you
on
can
other
also
things.
bring one of your favorite students to come and demo while you walk around. So one or two such things, if you take a break, don't take full break, right? You know, sit down and say, okay, everybody do your stuff. So that way you have to start your sadhana also, right? This is a great impetus to do your sadhana, so that you can do and still not be I was doing pretty much, I wasn't feeling well, but then I was like, okay, not even once I was panting, and I was like, wow, you know, just about a year ago and things like that, I would be panting doing all these things, but today I wasn't. In spite of not having good sleep and whatnot, things were going pretty south for me. Everybody in the house is sick, so I got some of that. Not really any sick, but you know how body tends to fight it off. Everybody's fine now. But yeah, with all that also I was not panting. That is because once you start leading them, you yourself will grow in that.
Yeah.
So that's why don't hesitate. Just take that challenge and move on. We are done 9 o'clock, and we should just break for.
Can I ask a
breakfast.
quick
Yes, please.
one technical point?
Yeah.
It's a question about how the Kapalabhati instruction. So, for example, when we do the Kapalabhati by passive inhalation, we are not actually filling our lungs to capacity.
Yeah.
It's only a little bit.
Correct.
But in the initial instruction, I noticed, not just in this class, but many times in the past, that breathe in fully and then start the Kapalabhati. So the lungs are full.
Yeah, I know. I also felt that way. I also don't agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you shouldn't breathe in
Oh,
fully?
no, not to say that.
We could say breathe in fully and breathe out fully, like slow exhalation fully, and then start the Kapalabhati.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kapalabhati,
So-
I don't see why. I mean, I forgot to give that
Yeah,
feedback.
sure.
You are right. You brought a good point. I just say sit and let's begin.
Okay.
Passive exhalation. That's all I also tend to do. And I find it very
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I tried it with the Brahmudra. I wasn't comfortable in it.
Okay.
And I think even yesterday when I taught it, I thought I was going to teach it like that, and then I didn't because somehow, I don't know, it just doesn't feel comfortable for me. I feel a little bit closed when I'm doing this, whereas when I put my hands like this, I feel like my chest is open and I can just, kind of focus on the breathing, whereas this way, I feel like I'm just closing up.
But for Kapalabhati, I think we should not even open up too much, right? We should not breathe in too much, we should not open too much also. In fact, that's why I like it. Because it makes you, like he said, that keeping it shallow and only to that level.
Oh,
But
I'll try
But
it.
on the other hand,
Yeah.
we also do full yogic breathing with that. So it's very interesting that you are saying that, which is good. Good to know that.
Yeah.
In that case, any kind of
Oh,
Adi Mudra is fine.
okay.
The reason is this, that power, right, when you do this, the security and the feeling of, like a baby pose, it's basically baby mudra, right? So that feeling of power and security is there when you hold. One is you hold that to punch, the other is as a security. Adi Mudra. Very name is Adi Mudra, the first mudra that we take when we are born. And so this is just, it's fine. Your preference is your preference and nobody's going
One
to
last
question
thing,
that.
when Shriyamji started with the laughter, I thought that was really great because sometimes when we do laughter in class, people are shy about it. They don't. This way, when we were in the in supine position, we were just like opened up to that. So I really liked that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was a good way of doing laughter.
And that was my challenge because I'm a very serious guy.
I was surprised actually. I
was surprised
Then I
that he's
remembered.
doing
Then I
that.
remembered.
Yeah.
That was mentioned yesterday.
Yeah. it
Yeah,
was
so that's
nice.
why people don't open up to the laughter when you're actually doing it in front of them.
Oh no, today we'll be discussing that also.
Oh.
We have, my time is clicking and so the curriculum is huge today.
No, but humor was good. Even both of you made some funny comments.
Yeah, it was
Oh
very
yeah,
good.
yeah. That
So
was
that is kind of.
yeah. Like